Incredibly, Greenland seems to be shifted to the back burner this morning in Davos now that there is talk of a framework for an agreement with the U.S. president. The White House says full details won't be released until it's all finalized. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who appears to have had a central role in the talks, says there is still work to be done.
We'll do it step by step, but of course working fast, but also with thoughtful diplomacy, we will get this done.
This morning, Denmark's Prime Minister is again stressing that Greenland's sovereignty will not be up for negotiation. But the Wall Street Journal is reporting this morning that the proposed roadmap would grant the U.S. the right of first refusal over resource development. There's also reporting from the New York Times that the framework may include expanding the U.S. military presence in Greenland and granting a form of, quote, limited sovereignty to the U.S. for the land where the bases are located. That's something that would be modeled on British military bases in Cyprus. All right, for some reaction to these latest developments, after a head-spinning week, we reached Tillie Martinussen. She's a former member of Greenland's Parliament, and she joins us from Nuuk, Greenland this morning. Hi, Tillie. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now tell me, apparently the heat has come down off this dispute. How are people in Nuuk reacting to the idea of some kind of loose framework with no details?
Not very fondly, I have to say. And also what we're seeing right now is that people are, of course, not trusting this administration, Mr. Trump. So we're not reacting too well, I have to say. And we're not sure what this framework will entail. However, the sovereign pieces of America within Greenland, we haven't heard about yet in Greenland. And also the minerals deal sounds a little shady, I have to say. So we're wishing for someone to be just as ballsy, as the Canadian Prime Minister right now. And let's see what lies ahead for us.
You've been pretty, I'll use your word, ballsy in your videos online. They've gone viral. I saw that you likened the U.S. president to one of the dogs in a dog sled.
Yeah. So if you have like a dog sled team, you would have, even if it's your best and brightest and strongest dog, if it turns around and bites you, you can never trust that dog again. That's what I was saying. And I have to say that will be the sentiment, of course, of the Greenlandic people for a long, long time. Even if we strike like a good deal and everything, it would have to be something that benefits the Greenlandic people. But what we're seeing right now, of course, is everyone is kind of scrambling up here, at least, to find someone else to work together with, because we can never really trust America again. I mean, we're waiting, of course, for a saner president than Mr. Trump, I have to say, But then will they elect someone like Mr. Trump again? I mean, upending the world as we know it since World War II, everything that we fought for. And I would have to add, Greenland and Denmark has actually been the soldiers who has been following them into most conflicts, because we do have an agreement and we have adhered to it even when other Europeans didn't. And to turn around this way and then just say, we want to acquire Greenland, we don't care about Denmark, you haven't given us anything. I mean, the speech yesterday at Davos was so insulting that I don't even have words for it. We have people who came home in coffins in conflicts that weren't even ours. I mean, I know the Greenlandic people are sick and tired of hearing of all of this threatening and everything else. And we were cheering loudly for your prime minister when he was doing the speech at Macron as well, I have to say. So,
Tillie, when you were hearing President Trump talk about, it's just a piece of ice, and we have to have control over that ice because only the United States can protect Greenland. What were people saying there watching that?
They were going completely nuts on my feeds everywhere. Everyone was so mad and so angry. We were hoping for something that would be like more reasonable, right? That would come out of Davos because it's the World Economic Forum. But nope, he went on for an hour just sounding like someone who had dementia, very, very rude to Greenland. And he was also saying Iceland a couple of times. People are sort of doubting that, but I heard it live. He said Iceland a couple of times. I mean, he doesn't even know where he wants to invade. That's so insulting. People here have so scared. So,
I want to hear about that.
what
You know,
part
it's
of the-
been a very tense week, months really, but it ratcheted up in the last week where you live. You say
Yes.
people have been afraid. Tell me about their fears and what was some of the reactions to protect themselves.
Well, of course, we were told actually yesterday, I think it was, to pack like supplies for 5 days, water and food and medicines and everything, just in case, in the unlikely event that we would be invaded because we couldn't get Trump off of this strange idea. So people have been afraid. I know that they have been polishing their rifles and bullets and sort of also cleaning up everything. That they could, get in their huts in the fjord so they could move into there if needed be, if Nuuk was seized. We haven't had anyone threaten us, not the Russians, not the Chinese for, I think, a decade or something like that. Our intelligence is pretty good up here, right? And then, of course, when everyone was supporting us, Canada, I know that you were also like on the menu, as you said, but like Canada and Europeans, we were so grateful. People almost cried like in the streets here because we believe in standing together. We believe in freedom and democracy. And I think maybe I was the first politician to say out loud to media outlets that I was so enraged by this because, enough is enough, right? And of course, I'm not in Parliament, so I'm also at liberty to say some things that they maybe can't, right, diplomatically. But I was really angry.
Tillie, what fundamentally did the United States administration miscalculate about Iceland, here I am again, about Greenland and its resistance to the U.S. taking it over? What was misplaced in their thinking, in your view?
Well, first of all, we have had a treaty since the 1950s that puts in place that he can do almost anything he wants to as long as we nod along, and we have always nodded along because we were friends. And as mentioned, we have actually also went into conflicts that weren't even ours and that didn't really have anything to do with us. That was on America's behalf because we adhere to our agreements and to international law. So first of all, that. And then second of all, he was going on and on and on about, well, Europe weren't able to defend itself alone and everything. And I think that talk is now silenced, I think. What Americans perceive as weakness is, of course, people being strong with their allies. This whole thing is so upside down and so screwed up. I can't even, it makes me so mad. Everyone has been pledging allegiance to this alliance, and he's talking like also that he owned Greenland before, that America owned Greenland before. What? There were so many lies and there was so much misconception about Greenland and apparently also about Europe, which we are so grateful for in Canada and everyone else. I think what happened with the Canadian Prime Minister, I have to say, I have like a ton of girlfriends who are like, I want to marry him. He's so great. So Canada is the new world hero to Greenland, I think, as well as his friends.
Tillie, we've just got less than a minute left. I want to ask, what's your vision of what happens next? Are Greenlanders just waiting this out? Are you going to fight back against the details of so-called framework? What do you think?
I think we're going to push back probably on the framework if it's unnecessary and stupid. We're going to see. But as mentioned a long time ago, we're pretty resilient and we're not just going to lay down and take it. So I think we have probably been the most outspoken at the beginning of this and in the middle of this, probably also at the end of it, right?
I was interested in your description, too, of ownership, the way Greenlanders see ownership of land, and that it was completely contrary to another country coming in and saying, we want your land. Yeah.
Yes. In Greenland, you can't own land, actually. You can get an allotment and you can own the house that you put on top. That's your property. But the land, Greenlanders believe, belongs to everyone and not just one soul. Just as the riches in the seas and everything doesn't belong to one person, it belongs to everyone. Everyone should benefit from it. And that's very much the thinking also about, of course, the minerals and everything. Of course, we are wanting to have something that will benefit the Greenlandic people in there as well. I mean, the pockets of I'm not doing the deal, but I'm just going to say it's not going to go over well. I know it's not going to go over well.
Tillie, has your home changed fundamentally as a result of this?
I have changed fundamentally. I used to be like the biggest rooter for the United States. I grew up like pledging allegiance to this alliance and to America, actually. First, of course, my own people, then the Queen of Denmark back then, now it's the King. And then third, the American president. So this is the first president that I've ever criticized openly, and I have to say I'm going to keep doing it. I was thinking for a minute there, okay, I'm going to be thrown into prison if he does a blitz, attack on us. I'm going to be thrown into prison, and that's going to be really bad. But I just can't hold my tongue. I mean, this is enough.
This is enough. People holding their breaths in Greenland?
Yeah, I think that they are, but not so much as before. More like, okay, so what is going to happen next, and how did Mark Rutte have anything that he could negotiate with? It must have been something that our politicians maybe didn't tell us.
Yes.
That they gave him to kind of appease Trump. So, yeah.
Tillie, thanks so much for sharing what's happening now in Greenland. We appreciate speaking to you.